Brad's mom.
Now wait. Now wait. Now wait. Let's not spill the beans.
Spill the beans. I was just trying to do a voice check.
Well, right. Well, hello, YouTubers. John Paul here. On Saturday, August 23rd at 17:10 in the afternoon Eastern Daylight Time. Now we were out on the back deck reminiscing a bit. Well, reminiscing isn't quite the right word. We were talking about great funeral orations we'd heard. Well, related to this fellow that had just died, and and there was a fellow that gave a funeral oration for Paul's mother, and his name was Ron Sams. I can't say his was a particularly profound performance. And then we had, there were a couple, there was a funeral oration by Helen, Brother Helen being Paul's dad's second wife. Excuse me. And her brother gave a funeral oration over his mother's body, and then there was another one he did too.
My dad.
Oh, and he preached. Yeah, and he preached at Paul's dad's
my dad.
funeral.
Yeah, my dad. He did well. His nephew.
Yeah.
Sherman.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. The one that fell off the deck and broke his back.
Well, he did a little Sherman thirds too, but he also did Sherman second.
Right.
The one with all the Harley guys.
Yeah, where they did.
And they were popping the beer and whatever, and spilling it all over themselves.
Let's start with the third one, the last one first. And this was a. No, I've heard about this, but I had never witnessed it before. And it was when Jeff Foxworthy has this great line like, you're a redneck when you crack a beer at a funeral. I actually saw that happen. And it was by the son of the deceased in a wheelchair who was dressed for the occasion wearing a tank top.
A Harley.
Well, it was a very Harley themed funeral, and you had
even the guest of honor in Harley house.
Well, the guest of Harley was indeed dressed in leathers, and indeed there was like one of these polyester things that you buy like at a state fair, Harley, if you ain't got a Harley, you ain't got shit, hanging from the lid of the coffin down over the body of the deceased. This gives you the ambience of this funeral. Nonetheless, the preacher was doing and did do a very, very good job. The only characteristic of this guy, I've heard him do three orations, is that he starts off by reading a standard obituary from the newspaper, and I think I wish he wouldn't do that, but that's his style. And like all Pentecostal preachers, God bless him,
the Reverend Floyd,
he gets on a roll, but he has to work into it, and it's one of these cyclical things, and he'll get inspired and he'll open up and read some scripture, and he'll get inspired and he'll read some more scripture, and he'll relate it to the individual's life. And this guy is magnificent, but his most magnificent performance was when he preached the sermon over his mother's body. He was up on this really high podium in one of these South End funeral houses, and and he took as his text the washed in the blood of the Lamb from Revelations, and he went on and on, but he kept ringing the changes. all the way through about, now, after such and such happened, now she's washed in the blood of the Lamb, and she will have no more tears. And then he tells something else, and now, no heat will touch her anymore, and now she will, and something else god awful happened to these people. Hell, they struggled, and now, no darkness will touch her at all. It's like they're going to dry on the house. I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to dry on this guy.
I mean, he even told stories of how they even helped each other out, and she even helps the kids out in their tough times. Taking a bite out of her own stuff. She was taking a tougher time, like, less food and money and stuff, because she was giving it off to the kids and stuff.
Well, that's what these folks do.
They wouldn't be having a bad time.
I'm sorry. That's what these folks do. That's one of the reasons why I really like Paul, is because that's the ethic he comes from. That's the ethic I came from too, actually. Although, thank God, not quite as much suck hind tit. So anyway, so now we're going. So we'll get to the story we want to talk about. It seems that. Do you need to go crack a brew?
No, I got one over here.
Oh well, okay. I thought you were getting a bit antsy.
No.
Okay. Now it seems that we got thinking about these South End folks. The South End of Columbus. Now it seems that Paul's dad.
Right.
My best, well, I can't call him my best friend, but my good friend who's now deceased mother, and
good friend's wife, father.
When it turned out that the father of my good friend, who, they all went to the same high school, the South High School in Columbus. Now, they weren't all in the same class, although I think Nita and your dad was in.
Dad was a year behind those two.
And I think Ray may have been a year behind.
My Aunt Margaret was in their grade.
Oh, that had to have been a real trip to be in that class. But that was probably before she got all diabetic up and dropping her blood sugar to
really
like 30.
Nuts.
Well, it was hard to tell how much of that was nuts, intrinsically, and nuts from the fact she ran low blood sugars most of the time by being too aggressive in treating.
She hadn't been diagnosed with the.
Well, she didn't have
stuff.
She didn't have juvenile diabetics. She wasn't a juvenile diabetic. She had type 2 diabetes. So there was a certain degree of intrinsic nutsness, as it turns out. Well, that happens, doesn't it, sometimes? So,
everybody just called her fun and great to be around.
Well, yes, she was, and she was, and all these people, other people were as well. I mean, your dad was great to be around. Your mother, although she wasn't there, was she? Was she on the South Side?
No, she.
She was farther south.
She went to Bexley.
Okay, well, all right, well, without getting into that, and then so you had Ray, and you had your dad, and you had Nita, and then we had Joe Schmaltz, who was
right.
Kyle. Well, Kyle Bethel and my goddaughter's, Kyle Bethel's dad and my goddaughter's grandfather, and so all these people knew each other. Okay, now what we need to talk about specifically is, I am not speaking over the dead here, because I knew all these people and I got the hugest kick out of them. They were very, very kind and good to me. Now, having said that, though, sometimes you just need to speak the truth in peace and love, particularly when it can be, well, interesting. Now, we have, it seems...
We're working up to a particular dinner.
Yes,
Right?
at the top. What we're really cranking toward ever so slowly, bit by bit by bit, is at a dinner in a restaurant in East Columbus, or, well, Bexley, if you will. Bexley. Known as the Top, which is a steakhouse, and it's known for being, you know, it sort of keeps the early 50s, late 40s ambience. You know, it's like a piano bar, and you got, you know, the tables and the banquets and all this stuff.
And it's dark as night.
They keep the lights basically off, and the prices. Actually, the prices for the drinks aren't that unreasonable, but the prices for the meals are just almost back-breakingly outrageous unless you've got, you know, a certain amount of money in your checking account or on your credit card, or are willing to take on that debt. Still, it's really good. You know, and if you tell them you want the thing almost raw, they'll bring it out almost raw. I mean, it's not, you know, and it's not like you've got chitter-chattery stuff. I mean, they've got a piano tinkling around, and it's not like somebody's telling obscene jokes, you know. But you know, I don't know. Maybe nowadays people are sitting there looking at their cell phones or smartphones. But at the time we went there, that was
you
not.
didn't have like a lounge lizard singing along with the tunes.
No. I mean, and in fact, it was encouraged. You were encouraged to go up to the bar before you sat down and had your meal to drink very heavily at the bar. You know, ideally with cocktails, but since I was a beer drinker, you know, I've never been a liquor drinker. And Paul's never been a liquor drinker either. I mean, you know, but what was great about that is, of course, we could then observe all the people who were liquor drinkers. Now, some of these guys were high-end liquor drinkers. I mean, we're talking professional liquor drinkers, like 4 gin and tonics in an hour and a half, and they can get up and walk absolutely unimpaired down to dinner and have another 2 while they eat dinner.
Or a few scotches.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
A few scotches.
Yeah. Move up higher. There we go. There we go.
You know. Like about the size of larger than an average cup of coffee. And
because they didn't stint on the measures at the time.
Yeah, but it would be all scotch, and they would say with a splash.
Almost.
So they get a shot of water on top of that.
Screw the water.
That was it.
You know, Columbus water and good scotch. Give me a break. Yeah, yes, releases the flavor of the scotch, my ass. That just isn't how it happens, guys.
And it was never on the rocks. It was straight up.
Well, I mean, they could have ordered it on the rocks, but the guys that were doing that, they knew better than to, you know, waste the volume of the glass. Well, yes. So
they were all regulars.
one of the great nights. Well, the last night I actually interacted with Ray Bethel, Brad's dad. He had been a B-24 pilot in World War II, and he had crash landed outside Paris after he, you know, had like 2 engines shot out. And well, that's all right. Well, go ahead, and we'll pause this and we'll start anew here. So Ray Bethel had crash landed outside Paris, although, you know, with all the crew intact and safe and all that. And then the French folks rescued them, and then they went into Paris, and they were able to apparently avoid the Germans. And this may have been actually after Paris had been liberated, but he was 19. He was 19 at the time, and this is really apropos of nothing of what we were going to talk about. We're going to talk about
what happened pre-dinner to his
yes,
top.
yes. We were talking about one. What happened pre-dinner to the top that night, and what happened after dinner at the top the night in question. Well, it seems that afternoon, and it did start in the afternoon, as all the really good things do. Well, if you're going to enjoy each other's company, right? So it seems that, and this was the first time I had an inkling that my friend's mother had how should we say, a kind of a serious problem. Because it takes me a long time to use that phrase about anybody that enjoys a drink or two. It seems that she was in the habit of going in. She had a coffee cup in her hand all the time. She says she was drinking water. Oh, I like to drink water.
Nothing but water. I love more water.
Yeah, well, she loved her water, all right. Well, it turns out, in the course of subsequent discoveries, that this water was gin. Well, I think her son, my buddy, my friend, knew that, and but she would get. Well, some people can be reasonably civil when they get
Ginned up.
Gin, yeah, gin. Although gin makes me murderous, by the way. So no, I can't drink gin.
A lot of people they get me when they're having gin and tonic.
I've only had two gins in my life, and I almost shot somebody through the bedroom door the second time. No, I can't drink gin. But I can drink pretty much anything else, with more or less impunity, But so earlier that afternoon, I'd gone over there with my friend to talk to his mother, because I ferried her around all over the place for her various medical things, and she was a hoot. She was a lot of fun to talk with, and he and she got into a extended argument about something, and she went into the kitchen, and everybody thought, I think the two of us remaining in the room thought that she was going in to just get some more water, and she comes out with an unopened 12-ounce can of Budweiser, and she takes a full swing,
threw it at her son's head and
threw it right at his head, and he was so stunned that he didn't die. He almost did not dodge in time, but thank God he did, because if he hadn't, I'll tell you, he would have been brained. It was kind of ironic considering how he finally died, but so that's when I sort of thought, perhaps I need to reevaluate some of these folks. And so we had gone over there, and you joined us later.
Yeah.
And we were going to have about, well, let's see, Mike, Poppy, I think Mike and Poppy anyway.
It would have been Mike, Poppy, Alia, and Alia.
And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia. And Alia.
You, me, Nita,
Yeah.
Brad,
Yeah.
Kyle.
Oh, and then Kyle's going to join us. Yes, his wife. It's his future wife at that point.
Brooke, Blair,
Oh, that's right.
Blythe.
His brothers and sisters. And so we went over to this restaurant called The Top, which is, I think I may have referenced earlier, these old time, 1950s, restaurants. And we had this really massively great dinner. And Paul, fetch me on my billfold over there, will you please? It's a visual aid guide. Now, I don't mind paying for stuff. I really don't. I enjoy doing that if I can for people who are really having a good time. I enjoy providing a good time for people. But this is probably the third most expensive good time I had, or paid for. The other two actually involved, 20 to 30 people that'll whack. This only involved around what? Well, you can count about 10, 12 people. That's all right. I enjoyed it. It was great. I particularly enjoyed it after the story I'm going to tell you now. Because when we got home, when we went back to
the Bethel house,
the Bethel house, which by the way was a converted speakeasy, which this thing had been on the edge of Columbus at the time of Prohibition, and they had metal lock room doors in the basement, where they had the speakeasies and the liquor and the money and the counting and the gambling and all this stuff.
Yeah, there was a casino in base.
Yeah, there was, so I mean, this house had a certain amount of history.
The guy's wife would sit at the front living room window, and there was a doorbell right by the front living room window. So if she ever saw the police lights coming from Columbus, all she had to do was punch the doorbell, and that house would clear out, and all the casino tables and shit would disappear downstairs.
They should have had a way
and all the steel doors would be bolted shut.
Well, they should have figured out a way to put these guys, somewhere inside so that after they all leave, then they can come out and keep gambling. Okay, well, perhaps
they ran to another place.
Perhaps we don't understand the full story of the time. But in any case, so what was I talking about? I was talking about this house.
We went back to the house.
Right.
And that's when Mike and Nita got into it.
Yes. Well, so it seems that my friend Mike and my friend's mother, Nita, her real name was Juanita. Now, I mean, I've never understood this idea that there were a lot of women named Juanita who were born in the 1920s. Paul's mother being one of them. What is this Juanita? I mean, none of these women had Spanish heritage. What's the deal? Anyway, but without getting becalmed in that little...
That close to the Alamo.
I don't know. Without getting becalmed in that backwater. It seems that what happened is that Mike, God bless Mike, and this was in his drinking days, he is now completely teetotal and has been for, let's see, since his...
it was down in Arlington.
No, since 93. Yeah, when he had his MI, or was going to have his MI. 93. So he's been,
Had that quadruple surgery.
Quintuple bypass surgery. And so he's, the man has cleaned up his act. God bless him. I think he's a wonderful soul, but I'm going to tell you right now, he isn't nearly as interesting as he was when he drank. As most people are not when they stop drinking, by the way. Let those with ears hear. Unless, of course, they're just completely boring and drunk. either with one O or two O's on boring.
Michael was always fun.
Oh, Mike was always fun. Oh, Mike was always great fun. It was particularly fun that night because he took it into his head to question Brad's mother about her venereal disease history. He kept saying things like, "Nita, do you have VD? Yeah. Do you like, well, other things too here, since we'll try to keep it somewhat, 17 rated, 17 rated for N17.
How many guys did you sleep with before you got married?
Well, I don't remember that question, but that was the type of colloquy that was being carried on. So, now we had to get this guy out of. We had to go home. I was driving. That was when I had the very unfortunate 1984 Lincoln, which you can hear about on another spot on my YouTube channel. But you could build a house back there in that trunk. Well, as it turned out, what we decided to do was
Mike sort of passed out.
Well, there was yeah, sort of, yeah. He was a bit combative, but he was sort of passed out. And I think where did we get that rug we rolled him up in?
Out in the middle of the family room because there wasn't anything sitting on it.
But we kept the rug, I think. Or did I take that back?
No, we took it back.
Okay. Well, anyway, there's a rug. And we put him on the rug and we rolled him up in the rug. Arms at the side. No, his head wasn't covered up. He could breathe, all that kind of stuff. And so we carried him. Now this house sort of sat up on the hill, so we carried him down, sort of down the steps, and we put him in the trunk of the Lincoln. We made sure he was comfortable. Are you okay? Well, he clearly wasn't injured. He wasn't going to, if I stopped suddenly, he wasn't going to brain himself. So, slammed trunk lid down. Off we went back to Mike and Poppy's house, and then we discharged him out of the back of the car, and then we distributed the rest of the folks, and then we came home. And it was like, oh, thank God nobody stopped us, like, oh, there's this guy in the back of the truck. Although he wouldn't have been moaning at that point because, he was out. He was essentially unconscious.
Because he even had to call. He called the next morning after he had slept it off and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, what in the F happened to me last night?
Oh, well.
I had the most weirdest dream that I was in a boot of a car.
We all like dreams, don't we?
We have no idea what you were talking about, Mike.
Nah, I don't know. I may have fessed up, but in any case.
You did later.
Well, we had to solve the problem. I mean, the man was in there making a complete. He was basically getting ready to. He was being very discourteous to our hostess. And you don't want to be discourteous to your hostess, no matter how full of crap you think she might be. In this case, I did not think she was full of crap. There were other times I thought she was, but not that night. She also told me when she thought I was full of crap. So we had this sort of like mutual understanding about things. Well, anything else to add, Paul?
No.
I think that
because Nina and I, we always talked about, the neighborhood where
about
she
all that,
and Dad and all them grew up, a little mischief shit and a little school argument fights she got into with my aunt and stuff. Because she's sort of like always, would promenade around and go on about all her freshly dry cleaned clothes and stuff. Yeah, well, Aunt Margaret got tired of it one day.
Well,
and beat shit out of
I
her.
don't blame your Aunt Margaret for that. Aunt Margaret was full of beans on a number of things, but not about beating the crap out of her for that stuff, I'll tell you.
So,
I got tired of this stuff about, oh, it's very exclusive, very exclusive. Things are very exclusive. Oh, it looks very exclusive.
yeah.
Oh,
that was Nina's favorite,
very exclusive.
term.
Oh, it's very exclusive.
Oh, you need to go see someone's
it's very
giant
exclusive.
chalet. It's magnificent.
Yeah, it's very exclusive,
It was a 1-bedroom A-frame.
You'd go down, it's like, take a picture of the table. Oh, take a picture of the table. I'm saying, Nita, I'm shooting Kodachrome slopes. I'm not going to take a picture of the table or the floor. Come on, By the time I get that processed, that's like about 75. I'm not going to do that. I don't care what the table or the floor looks like. Well, she was a lot of fun.
My dining room is so gorgeous. She got to do that.
Yeah, I know. She was a lot of fun though. She was a good soul, and
Maggie helped me do it.
She took the two of us in, in the early 1980s. I might sound like I'm saying something bad about her. I'm not.
Maggie was another real trip.
I read at her funeral, so. And there were well over 450 people, and there would have been more at her funeral.
I was in the next to last pew.
Yeah, well, see, she had fancied herself as a television personality in Columbus, but and I guess she was,
she had a talk show.
Yes, I bet that was a talk show.
It was called Morning with Neve.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think many people got a word in edgewise there, but
it's called the Coffee Hutch.
Nita's Hutch. It was called Nita's
Hutch.
Well, okay, fine. I mean, it's if that's what you like, that's what you like. Now, that wouldn't be my thing, but if she was trying to tell me that to impress me, she didn't. But she impressed me because she was a decent human being, and I really liked her. So.
And she also modeled at.
Modeled?
Yeah, she modeled and did like a sales thing at this expensive ass clothing store for women only. It's called Montaldo's.
Are you sure we're not
off
into the apocrypha here?
No. Because my mom also worked.
Oh, okay. We now are into the apocrypha.
Because
yes, we are.
My mom did it. Was there when she and Dad first met. That was one of her.
Montaldo's. That tells you basically all you need to know, doesn't it?
It's behind the State House.
Well,
you have High Street and
you could say everything north of Columbus is behind the State House.
Because the State House is broad and high.
Well, everything's broad and high.
Yeah, and it's like 3rd. That's right behind the State House.
Some of it becomes 3rd.
And Montaldo's was right behind it. That was the name of the place.
I know, but you have no idea the visceral response I'm getting when I'm hearing that name. And that sort of attitude toward. Well, it's not your attitude toward. It's the attitude that the Columbus Dispatch fostered in the town about that kind of crap. Give me a break.
Okay, if anybody's out there old enough to remember round white
yes of our viewers, yeah.
pillbox hat that Jacqueline Kennedy always wore, they sold those at Montaldo's for $350.
Well, and whoever paid that was a fool, and Montaldo's was very smart for trying to exploit that crap about Jackie Kennedy's little pillbox hat. Maybe,
This was way before Jack.
Okay, but did they try to sell it afterwards, like with fake blood stains on one?
No, I don't know what happened after he was shot.
Well, they should have done, because I imagine they would have gotten a big traffic in that.
I'm talking back in the 40s, late 30s.
Well, no,
early 40s.
Well, the pillbox. Well, of course, that was when she was in college. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack's gonna fuck me tonight.
Because my mom went to get one, and it was marked for $350. Dad came to pick her up.
I hope he slapped the snot out of her for that.
And she wrote her name.
Well, no, not violence.
She wrote her name on the price tag, because the day after Christmas, this hat was only going to be worth $25.
Well, it's worth nothing. It's worth nothing when you get right down to it. Now,
but that's what.
Oh, okay. We're not done yet.
But that's the kind of shit that happened there. And my mom and Nita Bethel were there.
I bet they didn't get along real well together, did they?
No.
No, I didn't think so. No, I didn't think so. I think if they'd had like sides or something, it could have been like sides at like 3 paces or 2 paces. That'd be like dueling. Size at 2 paces. See who you can cut each other off the knees.
Mom loved it.
Well, your mother always enjoyed a good verbal interchange.
What the women did.
I liked your mom, except when she really tried to take me for a ride.
The customers come in,
which she did a few times,
and they would pick out,
That's just the fact of the matter, guys.
They pick out an outfit, and they say, "Well, I want to see what this looks like." So
it looks like crap. I'm sorry.
That's where Mom and Brad.
Well, she didn't say that. She didn't say it was crap.
No, that's where Mom and
looks
Brad.
Very exclusive.
That's where Mom and Brad's mom come in. They would go into the dressing room, put the dress on, and come out and model it in front of the customer, so the customer could get the idea.
So they wouldn't.
How it looked on a person.
They wouldn't let.
That way, the customer did not have to go strip and put it on the dress.
Or
try and see it in a mirror,
or perhaps see how god awful the customer might look with the dress on her bod, in the mirror.
Right.
Well,
if the customer liked what it looked like on one of the 2 models,
we've all known that from time to time, you do need to just sort of let some of these things ride a bit in terms of how things look. Now, anything else?
No, I really can't remember anything else other than...
I'll tell you, I'm glad you remember that last little segment.
Yeah, I almost forgot it.
It's going to take about 8 hours to upload this tomorrow morning, but I'll be at church, so...
Well, that, where Mike called the day after being run around in a car trunk.
Well, like, it's not too.
What happened to me?
It's not too often that you can wrap somebody up in a rug and stick them in a trunk.
I know.
And not get reported in the Daily Mail and
Hell, it was the size of a half bathroom or bigger.
The inside of that trunk. I got in there myself to test it out. Oh yeah, it's great. It was great. It's too bad the engine wouldn't run because of the computer problem. But.
Yeah, well, we saw that one,
Well,
didn't we?
you can watch that on another one of my videos. Here, if you go through the list.
It turned into a big truck.
Well, it's like a 1984 town car. I think the title of that's 1984 town car.
And it went to town and never come home.
Well,
when it got started.
Well, it came home and I got traded off for a truck. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it came home.
Oh no,
and then it left home.
Yeah, I was talking about. I was moving my, stroke of parents' mouth. Alrighty, so we're gonna say bye bye, YouTubers.
Bye bye, guys.